G'day friends and foes, RJ here with RJ's This Is Not Legal Advice, or TINLA, episode 115. So I finally just got to the Freedom Day rally in Brisbane, and we'll see what happens. Might be interesting. So this is a market, it's at the Botanical Gardens. That's every Sunday. Or, you know, they probably had a break for COVID or something maybe. We've got all sorts of things there, but we're not here for that at this stage. So we've got some opals and herbal tea, pizza, silver shop, whatever else. They've got a lot more little stalls here than they had a few months ago when you had COVID. Restrictions being more enforced, but anyway, so I'm just going around here. I can see the People's Revolution flag, as it's called, and then it looks like a lot of people are leaving now already. They did start at 1 o'clock, but I had to do some other stuff. G'day. G'day. So, wonder how many people.
Reminding you that God is the first one that gave us freedom of choice.
Thank you. So we see how many people there are.
In Genesis 1:29 Hebrew, God said, "See, I give you every seed-bearing plant that is upon all the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruit. They shall be yours for food."
So talking about cannabis now.
Is it right to really stop someone from growing a cannabis plant to eat the flowers of?
Let's have a look
or put into
what
a
happens.
juice, or make their own organic medicine from, all of which can be performed so there are no psychoactive effects. So my question is, are you firm on this policy, or are you willing to consider legalising, not decriminalising, to be grown by the individual for responsible use? Thank you.
But not trip over. Let's go have a look through the crowd. No, just got to do something.
I just want to point out that
So do you know some people here?
Terminal cancers using high THC grade cannabis oil.
So let's go for a little look.
I cured skin cancer on one guy's face, so we had to amputate his eyelid, cured in 3 weeks.
Hi Lisa. So
Would you like an answer? My wife takes CBD oil.
they got Ricardo Bossi.
Oil. Zero. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Oh, by the way, the natural thing, belladonna is also a natural plant, but I'm not going to be taking any of that stuff anytime soon. So let's talk. Hang on.
I'll be quiet, so hopefully you hear things.
You get to choose this. You get to have any decision you want to. That's your right. Sovereignty rests with you. You are allowed to have an opinion. That's the bottom line. Now, if my opinion varies to yours, that's my right. That's my right. And we get to have an argument in the market ground of ideas, marketplace of ideas. Okay? So I've got no problem with anybody who wants to. My wife takes CBD oil. THC oil is fine. Hemp is good for food, clothing, ropes, building materials. No problem with any of that stuff. But as a man and as an individual, I'll not make myself a slave to anything or anyone. Do you understand that? I've seen the poppy fields in the Afghan. I've seen the marijuana plants in the Afghan. I tell you this, their kids aren't stoners. Somebody else's kids are. Personal opinion. Now you can argue on the lawful sovereign right to it. That's the marketplace of ideas. And if you want to sit back and have a blunt, that's your choice. Have at it. But we have an entire nation to save. And our nation is being so degraded to the point where they don't even know science anymore. They don't know what's good or bad. And pumping them up full of dope is not the smart first step to a sovereign, self-reliant, capable nation. Just my personal opinion. So we're all in favour of the medicinal application of marijuana, CBD oil, THC oil, and the rest of it. In fact, we have a wellness model of health, not an illness model of health. We're going to take the money that goes to the big pharma, we're going to send it to the natural side of health, make sure that it is safe, make sure it is effective, and then you can have at it. We are not into big pharma and we're not into that nonsense. But as I said, as a political party with a responsibility to build a strong, self-reliant nation, that's where we are at the time being.
There's Joel
So there you go.
Well done. And Ricardo.
Okay, next question. I'm curious to hear why you chose to run in the seat of Nicklin, which is the seat of the state leader of IMOP, Alona Lam. It is evident that this decision effectively split the first preference votes between both IMOP and A1, and therefore weakening the possibility of either party achieving a victory.
Now, fair question. If you don't understand the preference system, that is a fair question. How does Labor get into these seats? How do Liberal get into these seats? They have these bogus parties and members that run. They feed preferences to the major parties. IMOP and A1 ran in the same seat. It was to our advantage, because if we didn't run, IMOP would have had to, on their own, get 50% plus one vote. Mathematical impossibility. That's the numbers of politics, folks. Have a look at your next how to vote card. You'll see 6 or 7 alleged Green, alleged left-wing independents. They are set-ups just to feed preferences to Labor. That's how they get in. IMOP should have been happy to have us run because we shared preferences with each other. And the more individuals, the more minors, the more independents we have running in every electorate, the more preferences get fed to one of us, and I don't even care which small party got up as long as one did. The more minor parties that are in that contest, the better chance they have of getting to that 50% plus one position, and we can kill the majors. That's just the hard mathematics of politics. So it didn't hurt, it helped.
Sorry about the filming and no commentary, but obviously, you know, people can...
A lot of us have been called vaccine deniers, anti-vaxxers, etc. I would encourage all of you to never use those terms. Rather, call yourself pro-choicers. Right. And, most important, when you get home, do not stress yourself by trying to convert people against their will. Rather, support those who are already converted. And my question, Ricardo, is, what do you think about what I just said?
Hi, Ricardo. What is your opinion on the theory of working with the original people of this land and their true sovereign powers, which could potentially enable us to quickly exit out of the current corrupt regime and work with the originals on the government and economy?
Great question. Great question. We've already started through the efforts of Jerry Pruss. We're starting a series of negotiations, tribe by tribe, with the First Nations people. That way we can meet every individual tribe need rather than this one size fits all. The Mabo decision is flawed and unhelpful in many, many ways. So we're going to take time, tribe by tribe by tribe, to make sure that their individual rights, their First Nation rights, and their current needs are met. Now, having said that, we had an initial discussion with the tribes.
I'll just go for another little wander.
I spoke to the Attorney General. And what we started with is the end state. Because whenever you start a strategy, you've got to figure out where you're going to finish up. Otherwise, you waste your time going through mazes. And we both agreed, and I was very thrilled about this because I knew we had a way ahead. Because he said, at the end of this process, whether you're black or white, it makes no difference.
So hopefully it wasn't too loud when I was at the front of the speakers. I was trying to, was trying to cover up the microphone a little bit, but not too much, obviously.
It will be up to us. We'll discuss it with that particular tribe, make sure their needs are met. Then we move to the next tribe, and the next tribe, and their needs are very different.
Hey, Wayne. So, just going for a wander. It'll make sense soon, maybe.
Spiritual centre of Aboriginal culture. Sorry, Gray, I'll actually take that word. First Nations culture. Once they get back to their, and we make it that, because at the centre of every culture on this planet are your spiritual beliefs. Cultures formed by language, by geography, by food, by cooking, by whether you're by the sea or in the middle of the desert. But at the centre of every culture are your spiritual values and beliefs. That will heal each tribe, and that will heal the nation of Australia. And for the first time ever on this planet, we will have the colonists and the First Nations people together as one.
Sorry for not being so interesting at the moment, but I have a task to do. So hopefully I can get that done soon, but I need someone in particular to help fulfill that.
I just wanted to ask you a question because I grew up in Eastern Europe, where we have.
Wonder if anyone's going to ask Bosie if he committed electoral fraud.
I have actually been part of the revolution when I was 12 years old. There was a really bloody revolution trying to overthrow the.
Trying to look for
communist
someone in
government.
particular.
And the reason why I came to this country is I came for freedom and liberty, a better place for my children who are here.
Oh, g'day.
And I feel really disappointed to see that this country is
Oh,
heading back into socialism, a place that my parents and my people fought so hard
No, I
to
haven't.
come
No,
out of.
thanks.
And we have been so heavily
Just
persecuted
ask
under
someone if they
communism,
saw someone.
yet we are going back into the same place. So Ricardo, I'm asking you, I don't believe that this country, that there is any chance that we will take back this country through a legal voting.
G'day.
I believe it's all rigged and it's all set
Just quickly
up
say hello to
because that's how socialism
G'day,
works.
I am live streaming. Oh, nice to meet you.
Oh, did you get last?
Yeah. I just have to try and find someone quickly, but do you have my email address or anything like that?
It's still on that I found in Facebook and that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So send me a message, but I just got to find someone rather quickly. I'm also in a 15-minute parking
Keep
zone.
going, man.
Thank you.
What their
Sorry,
power
nice chatting to you.
And what their rights are, and take back our country through a revolution. And you know what?
They're still looking for someone. Oh, g'day, how you going? Not too bad, long time no see.
Yeah, what's that? Did you get your car sorted?
Yeah, so I've got a different car now. The other one's still basically broken down over front of the house. But I'll just cover the microphone for a second. Have you seen Anna Sterncombe?
No way going back
Anna
to
Sterncombe?
communism.
I have to serve her with something.
Okay, all right. Have a hard time finding anyone around here, actually.
No worries. You can send me an email or message on Facebook or whatever. I just have to try and find that person quickly and then I have to bugger off.
Sure.
Cheerio. You too. So again, just looking for someone, in case you're wondering why I'm stuffing up the filming, not aiming properly and walking around everywhere. I'm just trying to find someone in particular that can help me with the task.
We can't outsource this anymore. Look in the mirror, just like you did, and you realise that you were the solution to every problem you had.
There's a MAGA hat.
What we're doing here today is just another step in the process. One by one by one. You look in the mirror and say, I am the person that's going to turn this around.
Have a look over here.
Not somebody else.
See if I can
You
see.
have to do it. You've got to lead yourself, you have to lead your family, you've got to lead your suburb, whatever it is.
Very hard to find someone in there.
Once you cross that line,
Not
once you
expecting to
realise
be found, I guess.
this invisible line that you cross and you say,
Maybe I
I'm
just
going
have to
this.
do one more lap.
You are more powerful than you can imagine. You have to become something you've never been before.
Yeah, so this is in Brisbane,
You have to do
by the
things
way.
you've never done before.
And then Denmark, stop forced vaccinations, banging pans and stuff. That was awesome.
Show of hands. Who reckons it's current?
They've got to keep it up though, of course, because otherwise the government will just reintroduce it and people get fatigued, so then they don't do it anymore.
There's a gap.
How many people here? I reckon probably about 600, 400 to 600 realistically. I'm sure the organisers will say there's 2,500. You can actually work out crowds quite accurately, especially if just say you had an overhead picture, because you base it on the density, how tightly people are packed together, and then multiply that by the area. So no worries, Lisa. They should ask you. Yeah, so that must be about BOSI. If their question's about electoral fraud, I'm sure they'd be pissed off with me if I ask it. And then, you know, time will tell if BOSI gets investigated or charged or something like that. If there's a conviction for electoral fraud, then that'll be interesting to see what happens, especially if it happens before the 14th of December, at least a charge, because that can, well, help Trump, because it shows that there has been, you know, electoral fraud in other first world countries. It's not just, or, you know, in Russia. Or Denmark, you know, I was going to say Denmark, that's a bad guess though, or bad choice. A lot of people say that, you know, the former Soviet countries are all electorally corrupt, which maybe they are, but why do we think our elections are any less corrupt? And in Russia, do people think the American election is corrupt, which it is, but not their own? No, that's an interesting question. Hi Cherie. So I am not filming the best today, but I am trying to find someone to help me with a task, and that's, you know, hard to find the person when they're not standing up as far as I see or anything like that. They are probably here, but I don't know. Anyway, so I have to go for another walk trying to find those people, and at the moment Ricardo BOSI is speaking. Hey Adam. Said hello to Adam, but he didn't hear. I just tripped over on some dust and stuff.
Now walk across the plank, pick them up and walk back. Who now will walk across the plank? Courage is nothing but love in action. Once you love someone or something enough, you will do what must be done regardless of the cost to you. That is going to save this country. That is going to lead the people's revolution, and that is going to help your sovereignty.
He's James Bartolo. G'day, James.
Hey, mate.
Not bad.
Ricardo, how are you, bloke? Mate, when you get in the big
Got a lot of internet celebrities here at the moment.
would you support a Royal Commission style investigation into all past deals done by government bodies and officials?
Still looking, unfortunately.
All past deals that have harmed Australia, spiritually, morally, socially, like the water, food, you know, where's the money? Follow the money. Would you support a Royal Commission type investigation into all bad deals that have been done by past and present politicians?
There's one step before we start the Royal Commissions, and we're going to have them, and we're going to give it to them good and hard. It'll be as pleasant as a bottle of Drano and a wire brush. What we're going to do is this. First, we're going to tighten up the laws in relation to treason and sedition. Then we start the Royal Commissions. We start the Royal Commissions into every crime that has been committed against the Australian people as far back as we can go. We're going to open up the cabinet records, which are sealed for 30 years. They won't even let you know for 30 years which crook's done what to whom. We're going to open them up. Every week we'll open up another one. We're going to have Royal Commission. Now, the only problem with having a Royal Commission is this: finding a Royal Commissioner who's not a pedophile or bent. I'm hearing you. But I'm sure we'll find one or two, and they'll be very busy men and women as they go through. And as I said, we will hold every one of those bastards to account, and they will pay. God bless you. And that applies to absolutely every aspect of our lives. And it doesn't matter whether it's the 28 VIP pedophiles, through to the unconstitutional trading of water rights against Section 100 of the Constitution. And every Chinese corporation that owns a square inch of Australia, I'm going to tell them to go to hell and back to China, and we're taking it back. And that's just the first week.
Hi, good afternoon, Ricardo. Thanks very much for coming. My name's John Dowie. I'd like to ask the question: do you think the Australian government has done enough to stop Chinese Communist Party infiltration into our country and our political system?
Labor, Liberal, National and Greens are fully owned subsidiaries of the Chinese Communist Party. They have given away our ports. They give away China. The triads are pumping ice through Darwin Port. They're about to get control of Townsville Port. the triads are going to get their eyes through there. This is, for those of you who know a bit of history, this is the Opium Wars 2.0. They are messing up with our kids through drugs. They are using corrupt politicians and corrupt police. The only reason you can't fix the drug problem in this country...
Someone covering their face from the
30,
camera
40, 50, 60 years.
in a rather odd
It's
fashion.
a direct line between crooked premiers and crooked cops. That's it. That's the only reason.
Very hard to see people when they're all sitting down. You're just looking
Andrew
for little
Ross,
faces.
Liberal Minister, served with distinction, a good, solid Liberal Conservative. Before he even retired from Parliament, he moved to a job with a Chinese corporation at $800,000 a year. Now, I'm not suggesting that anything wrong was done, because that would be wrong for me to do that. Maybe he was deceived. Maybe he's a good, honest man that was just tricked. But something stinks. You've got Paul Keating, former Prime Minister, telling our security agencies we're going to be less anti-China. We've got the Deputy Leader of the Labor Party, Richard Marles, saying we should have closer defence ties with China. That's like saying we should have closer defence ties with Adolf Hitler in 1939. No. Our politicians are fully owned by the Chinese Communist Party, and the ones that are losing their stones.
Hey Ricardo, I'm a friend, someone I follow on YouTube, JLH, you'd know I'm sure, put me onto you, and I've seen you speak, and I'm very, I like you a lot. Anyway, just wanted to say, why isn't it that, you know, you're just starting this party yourself, and there's a number of other small parties like the Citizens Party, the Family Party, and all this sort of thing. Why can't you all get together and become one friggin' party, for God's sake? Can you do that? Can you sort that out and just get on top of that? I told the Citizens Party this. I signed the petition regarding the bail-in, which got voted out by Labor and Liberal, 35 to 12, everyone except Labor and Liberal. All the independents, whatever, voted 12, and it just, you know, the amendment to the bill, this is so the banks can take your fucking money. They can take your money without you can't do a thing about it. It's called bail-in, and it's a law, and they tried to pass an amendment so that the banks can't take your money from the bank, because there's a loophole in there somehow with the wording. So be aware, that's what's going on. That is a law right now. They can take your friggin' money, all of your money. And your property will go under the socialism as well. You will not own property. Wake up, Australia, for fuck's sake. Yous are all...
Give him the question. Okay, the question was, why can't the small parties coalesce? 2 reasons. 1, most parties are populated by political wannabes that have egos the size of Ayers Rock and a brain the size of a peanut. That's problem number 1. I get so many calls saying, hi, I was a former candidate in the X party and I'd love to be a candidate for your party. And I say, that's great. You can follow the same process that I'll have to follow, which is set up a branch, get the members to elect you to be the candidate, and win that honour. Head office, we don't select the candidates. That's point number 1. All of a sudden they fold. So that's the first problem you've got to deal with, ego. And I've got to tell you, I'm proud of what I've got in my lifetime, both in the military and business. And this is the most loathsome profession I've ever entered. And it's populated by nothing but grubs. I need a shower at the end of each day. The people who want political power, and I don't, because that's why in A1 what we're doing is, this is not supposed to be an A1 ad, but in answer to the question, the members control the party. Within the bounds of the aims and objectives and within the bounds of the policies, the members control the party. If you don't like your candidate, you get the second. If you don't like your federal president, you get the second. If and when we become the parliament and we get a prime minister, if you don't like him, you get the second. So how about that? It's not about power. This is about giving you the power. That's point number 1. No other party wants that. The other parties want to control. We don't. Point number 2, policies. They don't know who they are. Now, whether right or wrong, A1 knows who we are. We have a set of very clear policies. Now, you can vote for us or not for us. That's okay. I don't mind. It's okay. But this is Darwinian evolution at its best. If you deserve to survive, if you can handle the process of getting to the top, then you know how to run the country. If you can't even organise a party and get to a position of real power, and you need to rely upon, you know, a kumbaya, hold your hands moment, you won't last 10 seconds in the real world of politics, which is bloody brutal.
So what we're going to do is this. We are going to build a one-up, and I hope the other parties do the same. I want to see One Nation get stronger. I want to see the Lawful Rebellion people get stronger. I want to see the Common Law people get stronger. I want them all strong as possible. But by the end of it, you have to earn the right to run the show. You don't hold hands down the bottom. We'll see who's on the top of it. But we'll be there. Eventually, and I'm telling you this, A1 will be the top party, we'll be the party of government, we will be the federal government, we will be the state governments, and we'll absorb everybody else, and we'll turn the country back to the people. There you go.
Thanks for answering those questions, Ricardo. Much apprecited. Do you want to say any last few words to the crowd before you leave?
Tricky, stop the questions before I got to ask one.
About the same time that Captain James Cook and the crew of the Endeavour were mapping the east coast of Australia, there's a small band of patriots, colonists in North America, that started to notice that there was some systemic corruption in the system. And they wrote this thing called the Declaration of Independence in 1776, 4th of July. And it goes something like this, and this is something that Australians have to make up for themselves. But they've given us a good lead. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That we were endowed by our Creator. That we're all born equal.
I'm going to have to go for another walk, and then I'll have to bugger off because I'm, you know,
among these are life, liberty,
parking
and the
zone
pursuit of happiness.
that's time limited.
And to secure these rights, governments are formed, and then with the consent of the people. But when that government becomes destructive,
would have been helpful if I could find who I'm looking for.
People have the right to.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to find the person a different way.
That's what this is all about, folks. This nonsense of electing some pinhead at this point, and then 3 years later, they come back and ask for more votes, but in between time they do nothing. That's now dead. We need to create an entirely new system. And it's been done before. We can do this. But we have to stand up. We have to compel them. They will do nothing unless they are forced to. Nothing happens in politics. Nothing. Unless somebody makes it happen. Nothing happens because it's a good idea. Nothing happens because it's good for the country. We have to change the dynamic.
I can't see the person, so...
How do we do that? And it doesn't matter which group you belong to. I don't care. If we have a protest and 1,000 turn up, we've got a problem. Because this won't change Australia. It's a step, but this won't do it. If we have the next protest or a gathering, let's call it a gathering, and 10,000 turn up, now the cops have got a problem.
See, this is a fundamental mistake people make. You have more rights protesting than gathering.
100,000 turn up.
Even though it doesn't really matter which way you call it, generally speaking. But
whichever group you belong to, and it doesn't matter. Recruit, build an army.
Again, looking for someone. In case you're wondering why I'm walking away from that action.
Fucking continent shakes.
Looking in the periphery in case the person is sitting down somewhere, so.
Got two more speakers, guys. How's everyone feeling? It's not too hot, is it?
He's a bit annoying, looking for someone.
Who's come to the march today? Guys, before we go on the march, there's some t-shirts, singlets, and some flags.
So they said they've got two more speakers. I did come here late. I think I got here about 2:30 or something like that. But such is life, and that's Queensland time, which is 1 hour different than, say, New South Wales, Tasmania and Victoria.
Dave is currently on town. Dave is currently on tour in Mexico and has sent us an audio message.
So I do the last little look and then I'll probably have to bugger off. I did see Matt Rosengarten was filming the whole thing, so if you want to see the actual proper thank you. If you want to see the actual proper, you know, broadcast, if you want to call it that way, of today's footage, then, you know, look up Matt Rosengarten with the Truth and Freedom Report. I'm sure you'll find it good.
Full support. And Tricky, play my song loud.
Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to bugger off, at least to move the car, so I don't get a fine.
We don't run from your guns. We won't jump and we won't be pushed. We don't dance to your song.
Different music. Ah, bugger. Can I get one? Cheers. Get some little flyers, can have a look at those later. What's this one? One Voice 2020. Ah, g'day.
I noticed in a couple of your posts here a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, and just saying I'm still recording. No, so that was basically there have been some people doing some really bad things. So if I go do live videos, that makes a problem. And I updated my previous videos to have the TINLA name just so it's easy for people to find. There might have been like one of a protest against, building mosques or something in Cessnock. Oh yeah, Dungog one was a film festival, so that was from about 3 years ago. So I did used to live in the Hunter Valley, so.
Oh, fair enough. No, the only reason I asked is my brother lives down there.
Oh, okay, cool.
And when I sort of tied up, he's got a couple of neighbours down there that are Martins, and I went, hang on, you might have been going home.
Yeah, supposed to have long lost family in Maitland with the surname Martin.
Oh, right. Yeah, we had good family friends back up around Gloucester.
Oh, okay, cool.
And, they were Martins as well. We were open family friends with them.
Yeah. That's all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I sort of grew up a lot of the time around Newcastle and Lake Macquarie. I was born in Sydney, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did my apprenticeship there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What was your apprenticeship in?
Welding.
Oh, cool.
Boiler making. Being silly.
Yeah. That's all right. I had to try and find someone to give them something. I can't say on a...
Trying to find them in a
video. Yeah, so that's not very helpful. But I'll have to stop my live stream now too, because someone's trying to call me. So bye everyone. Sorry again that the filming was a bit crappy, putting it nicely, but that wasn't my primary task today, especially when I came late anyway. And I'll have to move the car and maybe I'll come back. I'm not sure. Anyway, cheerio. I'll just give you a wave. Woo! Bye.